You're watching Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Game 7, Stanley Cup final. That is it. That is the lead. Let's go. Welcome into a Game 7 edition of Oilers Nation every day. We're shaking. We're nervous. This building is going to be rocking in about 6 hours, and the Stanley Cup will be awarded right down there in about 10 or 8.5 hours, we hope. Can't do OT tonight. Welcome into Oilers Nation every day, live from the Sports Closet studio, which we've once again taken out on the road. Excited to be here with you for, honestly, I don't know how long. We might do 90 minutes. We might do 2 hours. There's people who are buzzing around the rink who I just kind of run into, and I'm like, hey, if you got time between the hours of 2 and 4, run on up to the top level here, section 328, and give me a shout. So we're going to have people just kind of swinging by as the show goes on as well. But, man, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm excited. And I'm going to bring in my boy, Liam Horrobin, who's back in HQ. He's going to hold down the fort back in E-Town tonight. What'd you say, Liam? Today was the first time you ever woke up nervous for a hockey game?
My stomach just felt like it was rotating continuously through my body, but not just like where it's supposed to be, just like making movements all over me. It was kind of like, I don't know, the craziest feeling I've ever had. I'm so excited for tonight, but I also just want it to be over.
I'll be honest with you. Like I'm going through different waves today. I get like a flash of, oh my God, they have a chance to win the Stanley Cup on this ice behind me tonight, and they're gonna do it. The vibes are too good. How could this team let this opportunity slip? And then I get back into like oh my God, like Florida has home ice advantage again. You've won 3 in a row. Winning the 4th is the hardest one. Oh God, I'm all over the place, man. I'm honestly so scatterbrained when it comes to what's gonna go down here. But it is a Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of the show. We are scared. We are nervous. You know what, Liam? I'm never scared or nervous when I bring the Nation truck in for a quick fix-up, whether it's an oil change or whatever kind of work. Their service department is top tier. No nerves. They just get you right back on the road, whether it's with their countless bays, their mobile service van, and they get you to where you need to go with your valet service as well. A Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day. We can confidently say it is the final Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day of the year. This is, in a way, like the wrap. Is this our season 2 finale, we almost want to call it? I know we're going to keep going through the summer. We got draft, free agency, all that. But tonight, it feels like season 2 finale.
Yeah, and boy, oh boy, it really does. Like, it kind of leaves you speechless, doesn't it, that we're at this point? You know, Game 7, Stanley Cup final, with a team that was down and out to start the season, was down 3-0 to start this series. And somehow the Edmonton Oilers are here, and while we're saying like we're nervous, and you went through how it's Florida's the one who has a home ice advantage and everything, like I feel so confident in this team, which is a crazy statement just to say about the Edmonton Oilers in general, because you never truly know what they're going to do. But I just can't see a scenario tonight where we just don't see the best from everyone. And that'll go from both ways. But the best part is the Oilers have the 2 best players in this series.
They have 2 of the best players in the world tonight, and you better believe that is going to be a massive, 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 massive factor for this hockey game. And we'll get into that maybe a little bit more with our keys to victory. Here's kind of how I envision the show running today, because again, we could have some people. But in a couple of minutes, we're going to be joined by our pal Jay. He's been out at the Elbow Room all afternoon, so I'm sure you can imagine the kind of state he's in. DJ Bean's going to swing by, join me live at 12:20, and then at 12:40, former Oiler Chris Pronger. The last time the Oilers were in this spot with a chance to win the Stanley Cup, Chris Pronger was wearing an Oilers jersey, and he's been in a handful of Game 7s. He's won a Stanley Cup. He's lost in Game 7s. He's lost in the finals. I want to talk to him a little bit just about a player's mindset going into a Game 7, and maybe as his playoff experience went on, lessons that he maybe learned along the way. Frank's going to join us at 1 o'clock, and then we got a couple of other people who might be able to make it work. And that reminds me, I got to get some links out as well to people just in case, just bug them one more time. Because I know our boy Jason Demers is somewhere in the building right now, And if he has a break in his recording schedule, he said he will sprint up the stairs to get in here and do the show with us. So we're hoping to have a loaded one for you here today. But hey, it's Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, man. You absolutely have to. And let me say, Liam, the vibes down here in Fort Lauderdale are unbelievable. There are way more Oilers fans than there were for Game 1 or 2.
Yeah, it seemed last night from the pictures I saw of the elbow room. It was quite funny because they have that flag outside, don't they? That says like the elbow room supports the Florida Panthers, and it was just a sea of orange and blue in there. It's just like the fans that went down on that plane with J and BM. That looked incredible. It's just like this is such a special moment, and clearly everyone just wants to embrace what it's going to be, whether you're down in Florida or back here in Edmonton. I think wherever you are tonight, it's going to be absolutely insane, and hopefully we can all enjoy it, win or lose, in like a positive way. And I don't know, like I just don't know what things are going to be like tonight. Not even in the game, just like pre and post, how excited everyone's going to be. And like I know we've had the idea of what it could be like with Game 4 and then Game 6 the other day too, but I mean, this is Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Oilers are one win away from setting NHL history. What would they would be the second team ever, right? Or the third team to ever get to a Game 7, the second team to ever to win it all. So I just it's just crazy. Someone put in our mailbag this week, Tyler. I know you saw the question too. Like, do you think it's an unfair advantage that teams get to make trades while the Stanley Cup final is still going on? I don't know what your response was, but mine was, I don't think either of these two teams care, because I think they'd rather be playing for a Stanley Cup final than trying to figure out how to get to one.
I think that was almost verbatim my response. I think I said like, I don't think either of these two sides care. And by the way, the other 30 teams would gladly trade places with the Oilers. No team sitting there like, boy, sucks to be the Oilers. They have less time to try acquire a depth defenseman. Like, no. And also no trades are going down right now either. So, yeah, no, I did think that was a funny question, though. I like that our responses were super similar. All right, let's get into some things, man, because the chat is absolutely buzzing already. How's my internet, Liam? I know it dipped out for a second there, but am I back?
Got way better.
Okay, so I'm in an okay spot here, which is very, very good. Hopefully it holds. I'm down to 3 bars up here in the arena just because I'm a little bit further away from the press box. So if it drops again, let me know. You take over the show. I'll hop onto my hotspot. But anyways, let's do some comments. I want to talk to the people. That's what this is all about. The Charm Diamond Center's YouTube chat. You can check them out online, charmdiamondcenters.com. You can also get a custom ring built and delivered in less than 4 weeks through Charm and the Masterpiece program. Check them out online. All right, here we go. Oily Accountant on the bus to Edmonton. There is a bus coming to Edmonton. That is exciting. I like that. People saying they want to see Zito's reaction if they lose. I mean, if I can be honest for a second, I don't care about any of the Panthers' reactions if they lose. Like, the thing that's been driving me today is like the vision of Stuart Skinner throwing his gear in the air. Like, that's been what's giving me goosebumps. Not just the AC in here, which is cranked to minus 3,000 degrees, but that idea. So yes, I get it. Seeing the Panthers frustrated, whatever. I mean, Matthias Ekholm, I sat in on his press conference today, Liam. He kind of talked a little bit about how, like, someone's going to lose tonight. Like, someone's dreams are going to be crushed. I do feel for the Panthers if this goes the Oilers' way.
I do and I don't, and I guess I'm the same idea, because for their perspective, they've had this series in the bag. They've thought at least 3 games in a row now, in the sense of like, we just need one win, and it's still that feeling going into it. They just need one win to win it all, and ultimately the last 3 games won't matter if that's what happens to them. But in the same breath, like, I can't even think about what the Panthers are going to feel if they lose. I'm envisioning what you're thinking too, of like the reaction to Skinner, like McDavid potentially lifting the cup. But the thing for me that's an interesting, and maybe this is a weird one because Florida have been to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, but it's more likely, win or lose, that the Edmonton Oilers will get back to this point within the next few years. I don't know if Florida's going to get another great opportunity like this, because they have a few free agents coming up, guys who are going to move on and get bigger tickets. Like Bobrovsky's not getting any younger. I know they have guys like Spencer Knight, but it feels like Edmonton will get more opportunities now than Florida will ever again.
Yeah, there's infinitely more pressure on Florida in this one, I think. And like, there's pressure on both sides. Like, again, these guys obviously want to win so bad, and it is going to be soul crushing if it doesn't go your way tonight. But I think you're bang on of like, Edmonton had the comeback. It's built up all this positive momentum, and Edmonton will still have its core. So yeah, I do think I agree with you. There is more pressure. It's a funny thing to say, more pressure on the Panthers than the Oilers, because they're also feeling a lot of pressure. It's Game 7 of the freaking Stanley Cup final. But all right, Damien, will Sportsnet bless us with Saving Me tonight? If anyone at Sportsnet had a clue, Saving Me by Nickelback would be the intro tonight for the game, without a doubt.
Did you see Kennedy's video?
I did see Kennedy's video.
That boy, did that give me some goosebumps. Like, I know it's like a very positive hype video of just being kind of like seeing people embrace the moment and everything, but it really did just like give you a lot of like, I don't know about you, for me, just like thought about what we've done on this run. Like, you've been very fortunate enough to be able to go and see so many of these games away too, so get those advantage points from those perspectives, and the memories came flooding back, Tyler. I was a ball of nerves this morning. It continued on after Kennedy's video.
Yeah, it is. I love that. Yeah, Mr. Burns said it made me cry today. So good. David, you have Oilers fans from all over the world going there. You absolutely do. Like, I was talking to a guy today in line at the Starbucks on the way to the rink, and he was wearing Oilers hats. I'm like, hey, did you come in from Edmonton? He's like, yeah. I'm like, man, every airport right now is crazy. He's like, dude, we had a long layover in Colorado. He's like, our flight from Colorado to Florida was filled with Oilers fans. Like, every plane coming into this city is filled with Oilers fans. And I think Nielsen today was catching some heat from someone because he said he thinks it's going to be 10% Oilers fans in here. I think he might have lowballed it. I know people were like, it won't be 10%. Florida loves their team too, blah, 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 home ice. It's obviously not going to be 50-50, and I don't think it's going to be 30%, but dude, and the stadium's huge. Like, it's a 20,000 seat arena. But I honestly think there might be 4,000 Oilers fans in for this hockey game. Like, everywhere you're going right now. There was a dude, that long stretch of road? This is literally only going to make sense to you and I, Liam. That long stretch of road right when you turn off the highway to go down the rink, and there's all those trees and you go past the IKEA, right? I just saw a dude walking down the street in a McDavid jersey this morning as I was driving down that road. Like, there's Oilers jerseys everywhere. So I honestly think it might be like 15% Oilers fans to be safe.
I hope so. The Yard House is going to be crazy for you guys pregame in there, and it's going to be crazy here for Greta too. But just on people being away, did you see Farhan Lalji's tweet this morning?
No.
He's currently on holiday in Scotland, and he's trying to get away from work, and saw this across the street, and it was this lady in Edinburgh wearing a Connor McDavid jersey, and he's like, "What is going on here?" So Edmonton the infection is spread across the world right now. It's incredible.
It really is. All right, let's get to our first guest of the show, and I'm very excited to see where he's joining us from here, because he is a man on the go. He's a man who inhabits the elbow room. The third member of our usual Sherwood Ford Giant pregame shows is our boy Jay. What's up, Jay?
Boys. The vibes are electric in Fort Lauderdale. I'm standing right outside the elbow room. That is it right there. As you can see, it is Oilers fans galore here. They're all high-fiving. It is insane. Beach over there. Vibes are electric. I got up this morning, went for a walk, went for a lovely breakfast, and all of a sudden I see all these people in Oilers hats walk in, and they're speaking Swedish. And I'm like, "You are the Yaremchuk." They're like, "Yes, we are." I'm like, "Mama, man, Yaremchuk, I met you in LA." She goes, "I remember that." I'm like, how's Matthias doing? How's he feeling? You know what? I haven't talked to him. He's just so focused. I'm like, that is the answer I want to hear, Mama. So vibes are electric down here. Elbow room has been packed with Oilers fans probably since about 10 a.m. And you walk up and down the street. Everyone's like, "Are you from Edmonton? Are you from Edmonton?" Because someone's wearing something with Oilers on it, whether it be a golf shirt, hat, whatever. And we're just a giant family down here. And it is amazing. Amazing.
More than games 1 and 2, correct?
Oh, by a factor of 10. We were at the elbow room last night, and it was an Oilers night. And it was a who's who of Oilers. Mr. and Mrs. McDavid were there enjoying themselves. Zach Cassian was there. Anyway, you name the media people, they were there. It was, and just tons of Oilers jerseys. Edmonton has come and taken over. It is Fort Edmonton right now here in Florida.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Kate, there is a little bit of business I want to get to with you, Jay. What can you tell me about the Explore Edmonton Believe campaign? And did you have anything to do with the billboard that went up outside the arena?
I'm a very, very proud board member of Explore Edmonton, and they have definitely seized and understood the opportunity of what a run like this is. And I had line of sight on it. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but then they went and did it, and the position in which they put it on, I just want to give them just a giant kudos and tip of the cap to the marketing team there for just understanding the Edmonton and Explore Edmonton, and they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. And it got so much attention too, right? Which is obviously the mission. I've got, you've seen those Believe signs. So we're throwing a pregame party at the Yard House before. I'm getting like 200 signs, Believe signs dropped off there. I'm going to hand them out like candy. We're going to get a lot of photos and just keep that Believe emotion going as we enter that building for the biggest game of our lives.
Big shout out to our friends at Explore Edmonton. Also, Jay, can you take the people through what you're wearing right now? Because we're only getting glimpses of the shirt. I think it's important.
Okay, Aaron, I'm about to show you something that has logos, so you know what to do. Thank you. I am wearing my Igor Ulanov Oilers shirt because it calls for that. This moment calls for the big guns. I'm bringing in number 55, the true 55, the original 55, Ulanov. I'm also wearing the new age 55 tonight. I'm bringing my Pepsi stained, very Pepsi stained white Holloway jersey to the game tonight because it is the Game 7 jersey. So, I'm wearing all the big guns. It's been very emotional. I woke up this morning. The stress and anxiety has not set in because and this is for all of us in Edmonton fans anywhere, like, it's just so exciting to be at this point. We are one win away. Just one game decides this. And Edmonton's got a 50-50 chance. And obviously, we're Oilers fans. We'll say they have a 70-30 chance. But right now, the stress isn't set in. I know what's coming. Right now, I'm just enjoying the moment, and so is everyone. Everyone in an Oilers jersey or Oilers shirt or from Edmonton right now is just enjoying the moment, and it's such a good time. So many high fives, so many knocks. Like I said, out at the post-game show in Game 6, right now we are all family, and you feel the love. It's such a magical moment in not only an Oilers fans' history, but just even ON's history. So very, very special day so far.
I got one for Jay. I wanted to know how the plane ride down was because you were on that flight with all those Oilers. I think there was almost 100 people on there. Like, what was that like? That must have been nuts.
It was. I got to shout out North Caribou Air that facilitated this charter, and Mark Beck from Cattail Crossing for being the one that fucked up and put the credit card down to tie this up and make an experience of a lifetime for 95 Oilers fans. The flight was electric, starting at 8 a.m. Two guys in spacesuits show up. There's a guy with a Stanley Cup. He bought a seat for it. It had its own seat, and he's wearing white gloves, so no one can touch it until we get the positive outcome. So no one can touch it. He had white gloves. He's walking around with it, and he was very strict with his rules, and I love him for it. So the plane was electric. The Let's Go Oilers chants were good. The staff on that flight were so accommodating. Just, let everyone have a good time, but obviously within the boundaries and everything. And the vibes were electric. So this is North Caribou. Trust me, we're going to be talking to them about some future nation vacations because that was an experience of a lifetime. And also, an update on this. We were supposed to leave initially at 6 a.m. Then it got moved to 8 a.m. And then the group chat just got word like an hour ago. Flight down departs at 11 a.m. And you can just hear like that's like the most electric response I've ever seen in a group chat. Because we all know, regardless of whatever, if the outcome we want happens, it's going to be wild here tonight. And those few extra hours are going to really, really make the difference of probably life or death.
Unreal. You got a picture of the astronauts, AB, to flash up for people? Very good. Very good.
And what's funny is it was hot in Edmonton, and we had to stop for fuel in Kansas City. So when the plane has to turn off the engines, it gets so hot because of the heat outside. And these guys just the plane would get so hot on those stops, and those guys just sucked it up and took it on. And then they also they got on and this is where the staff was doing. They let them get on the mic and start a Let's Go Oilers chant, and that's the one that you saw on video online that's been popping off. But yeah, no, vibes were electric. Everyone was happy. Everyone went on that plane with the hopes to sleep, but you got so excited the minute you got on it, no one got a win.
I love it.
So yeah, I don't know, and that was such a wicked experience. And like we got to land in like the private jet area here and walk off, and it was super cool. So shout out to everyone that made this happen.
All right, Jay, I have two more things I need to get to with you, and then we're going to get to our boy DJ Bean. First, keys to victory. Let's talk a little actual hockey here. It's for our friends at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, your one-stop shop for everything you need to enjoy the outdoors this summer, from fishing rods, reels, tackle, and boat accessories to motorcycle gear, water sports accessories, and e-bikes. Find out more at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Key to victory, Jay. Give me what you got.
I'm also with the owner of Sherwood Power Sports, named Curtis Hicks. He is down here with us, so shout out to Curtis for coming along for the ride, and he's having the time of his life as well. It's very simple. It is one win, and you get the cup. Everyone put it all on the line. You jump into front of everything. You make every hit. You win every battle. Easier said than done. But just bring that effort level, because this is the last game. All on the line. Leave it all on the goddamn line and outwork these guys. And you're gonna make your lives. You're gonna create history. So just don't think about that right now, and just go out there and do your job. It's that simple. Special teams, all that stuff. Just honestly compete like this is the last game of your life, because technically you win this and you've sealed your fate. Like, you are a champion. So go into with that mentality, the Bomba mentality. And then also, just to add to that, to add just magic juju into the universe on this historic comeback and run, the Oilers are going through these finals. It was this date in history that La Bamba was released. This exact day in history. Think about that. I get chills. Someone just showed me it on the tweet like 45 minutes ago, and I almost cried. I'm like, do your job. This is the team of destiny. Come on.
All right, Jay, I have one more task for you, and it's going to take some tech savviness on your part. All right?
Oh boy. Just to get on this show was tech savvy. My Safari didn't work. Chrome didn't work. I had to download the StreamYard app.
Do you think you could take out your AirPods or on your phone audio, and could you get a Let's Go Oilers chant going in the elbow room for us live on the air?
Buddy, that is, yes, it'd be an honor to do that.
But you got to take your AirPods out so we just hear the phone. And then when you take them out, it's probably going to mute you, so you might have to unmute.
Okay, just wait. Bear with me here, okay? AirPods are coming out. Don't mind that American flag. Go Canada. Jay's
trying to get a Let's Go Oilers chant from the elbow room.
Where's DJ? No.
All right, Jay, what's the update here? No, we can't hear you. Unmute
Can
yourself.
you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, now we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, I'm across the street now.
Don't get hit by a car. Which actually would be a little I think they are.
Everyone, I need your help. I'm on a show right now, and we're in the elbow room, and they want to hear a Let's Go Oilers chant. Let's go Oilers! Let's go Oilers! Let's go Oilers! Let's go Oilers! Let's go Oilers!
There we go.
Let's go Oilers! All right, mission accomplished. Let's fucking go Oilers!
DJ, there he goes, away into the night. Jay Downton. That gets you going, DJ.
Oh, it gets me going. I'm so pumped. I've made sure that I've been busy every second of today because I want to think as little as possible. But everybody is feeling Oilers tonight. I mean, I'm always feeling Oilers, but isn't it the damnedest thing? Have you found anyone who's like, hey, home team? Like, nobody has one good thought about the Panthers, and God, that scares the absolute life out of me. I would like people to be a little more demonstrative and braggadocious and threatening. Even like, I would just love for one Panthers fan to run up to me and be like, Panthers are gonna kick your ass, blah blah. Like, I need to my knowledge, nobody thinks the Panthers are going to win, and that scares me so much.
Okay, before we continue along, got to let people know DJ's appearance. Our Rink Report's brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky. It's Alberta's best tasting beef jerky. You can get it online, wilhaukbeefjerky.com. It is weird to kind of have that and it's shifted so hard. Like I had a game for everyone was like, sweep, it's over. Panthers are a class above the Oilers. This thing is done. And now to have it swing this way, there is more pressure on the Panthers than the Oilers tonight, though. With that being said, while everyone is saying the Oilers are going to win, for the Panthers, like not losing the Cup final on home ice, blowing the lead, back-to-back seasons losing in the Cup final, the questions that surround them this offseason, I think there's infinitely more pressure on Florida.
Yeah, that's wild, Tyler, because in Game 6, I would say would be the only one where it felt like there was a lot of pressure on Edmonton, because if Connor McDavid had given what I'll say is a quote that we cut up and sharpened up to make a little better, but he did use the words drag in Alberta. So that's the best quote in the world, and it's amazing. We're going to drag him back to Alberta. If the Oilers lost that game, I think that was like the last chance they could have gotten at maybe catching a little guff in this series.
Mm-hmm.
I think now it's over. They've erased a 3-0 lead. We've got a great clip on the What Chaos socials in which we argue with various media members over what it means to complete a comeback, whether that means you have to tie the series or you have to end up winning the series.
Oh, like have they already completed a comeback?
Right. Like technically they've already come back.
Yeah.
Because they are here right now. They are in an even series. So I don't think that people will lose a lot of respect for the Oilers if they don't win this game. But it does show just how far they've come that everybody expects them to win. I mean, but unless nightmarish stuff happens, you know that Connor McDavid is the postseason's MVP and that he'll win Conn Smythe. Like it will be hard, famous last words on my part, to come out of this series not respecting the hell out of the Oilers. And I lean towards thinking that we'll be respecting them as Stanley Cup champions.
Dave is in and says, DJ's expressing my neurotic thinking. Just went away there for a second. DJ's expressing my neurotic thinking. So many little things have swung in the Oilers' favor. I'm too scared those little things are going to swing back the Panthers' way. Like, there is something to be said. Like, winning 2 in a row is hard. Winning 3 in a row is very hard. Winning 4 in a row is very, 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 very hard. Like,
unless your coach is Chris Knobloch. Unless you're right?
Yeah, sure.
But you're right. There are so many things that the Panthers could correct, and things that I thought they would have corrected for Game 6. I thought they were going to come out with an incredible start in Game 6, and it just didn't happen. Credit Chris Knobloch there and how well the Oilers defend underneath him. But we've now reached the point of the series after Game 6 where the Oilers are the more physical team. Like, screw that's the hit stat. I don't look at it, so I don't know what it is. But I do know the Oilers are winning battles along the boards, and that is supposed to be one of the things the Panthers does to people. The Panthers are supposed to be aggressive. They're supposed to be physical. That's supposed to drive you crazy. The Panthers' still only chance in this series and tonight remains get the puck in the offensive zone, set up, grab rebounds like crazy, be like a basketball team that just cleans the glass the whole time, because they're not getting the odd man rushes they were getting early in the series. The Oilers are outplaying them in every facet, which, again, as an Oilers fan, terrifies me. What's wrong with my brain?
Liam, where are you at when it comes to that? Like, I mean, things have gone their way for 3 straight games. They've kind of dominated the Florida Panthers, and I'd say 2 of the 3 wins as well. Do you have concerns that it's going to shift hard back the other way?
I think we could see more of Game 5, that kind of Florida Panthers, than what we saw in Games 4 and 6. I mean, even last game, right? Like, it took a bit of magic from Barkov to beat Stuart Skinner. Like, that was a really nice goal. Other than that, like, Skinner was just stopping everything he sees. And one thing I'm just loving right now about this series is Stuart Skinner has basically gone like this and then went down for that 1 goal and then came back to even, and then he's just gone up and up and up. Where Bobrovsky is just like rolling down the hill, and I don't know if he'll ever stop. So that for me is like Stuart Skinner has just changed the series with his consistency. And what is Bobrovsky going to be tonight? It was so weird that he didn't skate yesterday. I know it was an optional, but even so, like, he's been there for every single one. So it clearly shows that, like, he needed a bit of a reset. So what is that going to be tonight? Bobrovsky's my biggest worry, but also my least of the worries.
Can you imagine showing someone these numbers after Game 2 and being like, oh, this is how it's going to play out? Bob at an 889?
I mean, I I do fear Bobrovsky for kind of what Liam was saying. Like, which one do we get? Given that it is late in the series, we should know what we're going to get, which is a subpar performance because he's not good in games 4, 5, and 6 of series. But we talk about a lot of legacy stuff because there are just too many big names in this series. Tkachuk, Bobrovsky, Draisaitl, McDavid, et cetera, et cetera. A legacy game could be had by Sergei Bobrovsky. Like, if Sergei Bobrovsky shuts out the Oilers after what I'm gasping as I say that, but like after what they have done, after he'd given up 14 goals from the third period of game 3 through the final horn in game 6, people would say, you know what? He can be gotten to, and we know that, and we've seen it before, but damn, a tip of my cap, sir. And when you have 2 Vezinas, you probably don't need many more tips of the cap either, but he's no spring chicken. He's playing for his first cup here, and that's a scenario that scares me. But everything scares me. Like, I love the Oilers. I will always be an Oil man. I'm going to be nothing but positive, but also I am a person with a neurotic brain, and I am just going to freak out until the puck is dropped here.
And this is kind of a good point too in here from Cody. Like, as much as we feel that way about Bobrovsky, like he says McDavid won't be denied, I'm sure Panthers fans are sitting there being like, well, Connor McDavid's playing in a game 7 for the Stanley Cup tonight. Like, he's coming off a game where he didn't have a shot or have a goal. Liam, first time in his career he's been held shotless and goalless or shotless and pointless, and the Oilers still win.
Kind of crazy. The only stat he had was what, he have a block shot in 2 minutes for Huckin. It's not really. It's more of a, I don't know, a Derek Ryan kind of night than a Connor McDavid kind of night. But there's one thing too that was interesting, Tyler. I'm curious if you saw this at the end of game 6 as well. After the Hyman goal, Florida, just every chance they got was whacking, cross-checking, just trying to be like overly physical, starting every single scrum. Like, I wonder if that's going to be their recipe tonight, is just try and be dickheads, quite frankly, to try and get themselves over the line. They obviously took out Nick Cousins, so maybe that doesn't quite work in the favor of what I just said, but I could see that being Florida's game plan, is just try and do anything to literally knock the Oilers off their game.
Well, they are putting Mr. Penalty Box back in the lineup, though. By taking out Nick Cousins, they are actually statistically putting themselves at greater risk if they're putting Kyle Oposo back in. I love that player. I've loved him his whole career. But damn, if that guy doesn't take a penalty every time he's on the ice right now.
And again, like, Liam, if they want to play that way, like, I welcome it from an Oilers perspective, because game 7, one moment changes everything. I like the chances of the Oilers power play having that one moment that changes everything. Like, give me 3 to 5 power plays tonight instead of 1 or 2. Hell yeah.
Yeah. What are the remaining things? So I think that we can all agree the Panthers have more things that could go better for them, meaning like that could go better for them than they have recently. There are more areas to improve for the Panthers than there have been for the Oilers, because the Oilers have just been outplaying them across the board. One of the places the Oilers still could improve is the power play. The other one is Leon Draisaitl, which obviously we loved him in the first period of that game. I'm assuming he's emptying the tank every second he is out there anyway. But the 2 big things that could still probably go a lot better for Edmonton are the power play and Draisaitl. I take Hyman off that list after his goal in game 6.
Goals in back-to-back games now.
That's right. Can't stop the man. Out of control. So that's another thing, though, that like there still are, for as well as the Oilers have played, there's still a few very potent areas in which they could say, oh, welcome back, Mr. Draisaitl, or welcome back, Mr. Nugent-Hopkins on the power play, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, one more thing I want to get to with you before we let you go. Dacky is in. I know he watches What Chaos. He wants to know if I brought you a white Stuart Skinner jersey. I did not, but did you get your hands on one?
It is within. It's. Oh, I'm pointing to the general area where it is. It is. I have it in the building.
All right.
It was brought to me. Shout out my guy Pat. Bought it in Edmonton, gave it to guest of our show and legendary NHL video coach Steve Peters.
Oh yeah.
He brought it to me. I now have it in the building. It is sitting in a CVS bag. Nobody knows it's a CVS bag. It could be anything in there. It's like a clear bag, but still, I got it, and I, Lord knows what I will do if the cup is lifted and we see number 74 in that beautiful white jersey out on the ice, hoisting that cup. Question for you. This is some real bad behavior. I apologize because it's putting the cart ahead of the horse. If a certain team is to win, who is given the Stanley Cup second or first, I guess, from McDavid?
Leon. As much as I think there is like the Nuge case for all of that as well, I think the iconic image of Connor to Leon is not lost on him.
It has to be Leon.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then from Leon to Nuggie, and from Nuggie onward, probably Nurse.
Yeah.
Getting a little ahead of ourselves. When does Janmark get it? 11th.
He's got to get it soon. I mean, got to get it early.
You think?
For the game-winning goal, scored tonight, he's got to. I mean,
Mr. Game 7 himself.
Yeah, I was gonna say the O word, but I don't even want to.
No.
My biggest fear in the world is that Pete wants it so badly. There hasn't been the O word in this series yet. How can it be a classic series without a?
I don't like.
No.
Yeah, it would.
No.
I don't even know if the city of Edmonton would go that crazy if they won it in, because I think that many people would pass away. They would have heart attacks.
Yeah, deceased.
Yeah,
tough night.
Yeah. Oh well.
Okay, I want to leave you on this. Some good omens. La Bamba was released during this week, however many years ago. Good omen. On this day in 2011, they drafted Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. On this day 1 year ago, Nickelback stopped in Edmonton on their tour, and Chad Kruger stood on the stage in front of everyone. I was there. I was in the building, and he said the Oilers are winning the Stanley Cup next year.
This is the fourth game I will have attended in which the Stanley Cup is awarded. The first was in Vancouver. It was given to the road team, the Boston Bruins. The second was in Boston in 2013. The Vancouver, of course, 2011. Boston in 2013, it was given to the road team, the Chicago Blackhawks. The third was Boston in 2019. It was given to the road team, the St. Louis Blues. Once I figure out who the road team is in tonight's game, I'm going to be very excited. Let's hope.
All right, Deej, you're the man.
You're the man.
Enjoy the game tonight.
Technically last one of the season, but we got so many more, man.
Yeah, we do. All right, DJ Bean, live from Florida. See you, DJ. We are also going to continue along and get to the Star Mechanical inbox in just a second here. While we do get set up for that, I need to remind you, Star Mechanical is Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company, and you can find out more about them online by visiting them at starmechanical.ca. Liam, here's a fact about you and I. We've never won the Stanley Cup. I know, disappointing for maybe some people to hear that, but when you're talking about a Game 7 of a Stanley Cup, you should maybe bring in someone who, has played in the damn thing before and been there, knows about the mindset. A pleasure to welcome back to the show former Oiler and Stanley Cup champion, Chris Pronger. Chris, thanks for doing this again, man. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's just start with this. And I was listening to Matthias Ekholm speak today, and he talked about how, today is just going to be a normal day for him. He's going to go and he's going to have his pregame nap and his same meal and all that. As a player on this kind of a day, how difficult did you find it to stay in your same routine and have your pregame naps and all of that?
I think you're excited, but I think I saw Connor McDavid talk about it yesterday. You have to just treat it like another it is another ordinary game. You're going to have the butterflies, you're going to have the excitement, you're going to have the pregame jitters, but once it's all said and done and you start playing, you're just playing another hockey game and trying to play to the highest level you can.
Yeah, fair. I just, for me, like sitting here, I keep being like, okay, now it's 5.5 hours till puck drop. Okay. And it's something. And the vibe down here is incredible. Before we continue along, I did want to do a bit of a giveaway in the chat. I did not tell you about this, Liam. I'm sorry, but we're giving away $25 to Nation Gear. There are two players in this series who were teammates of Chris Pronger. First person to get it in the YouTube chat is going to get themselves $25 to Nation Gear. Chris, do you know them off the top of your head?
Two players?
Yeah, two players in the series you were teammates with, and I hope my research was right, but I think it was.
Two players.
One on each team, too.
I'm have to think about that.
Really put him in the spot.
Oh, boy.
I can bail you out because someone in the chat's already got it.
Oh, wow. Who were they?
Sergei Bobrovsky spent 2 years a
That's
year
right.
with him in Philly.
That's right.
Perry.
Sorry.
Corey Perry.
And who? Corey Perry. Look at you guys. Drew a blank on both of them.
Good research. All right, let's continue along. Obviously, the last time the Oilers were in this spot was back in 2006. What do you remember about that? And maybe what was the mindset of being a road player in such a pivotal game?
Yeah, I think at that stage, we weren't really too worried about matchups. You already had felt out the other team. You knew what to expect, what was going to transpire. I do think if you're Edmonton in this situation, you want to get that first goal. I think the team that scores the first goal is going to have the upper hand with all the pressure and the magnitude of the game and everything that's surrounding that. Obviously, in that game in 2006, Aaron Ward scored late in the first period to get the lead for Carolina, and they kept it throughout the course of the game. I don't think this game will be any different. And I think to go back to what we were talking about earlier a little bit, and just the pressure and the magnitude of the game, I think for people that are not playing in the game, it's more pressure. You feel every shift as opposed to the players who are that are focused on their sole shift. They're not as necessarily engaged in, if you're up top or you're, a fan in the building, you're living and breathing and dying by every single shift. And as a player, you're trying to catch your breath on the bench. You're paying attention to the game, but you're not playing the shift for that particular player or that line. And so when you're watching the game, you're just so tight, you're feeling everything. And I think that's where people kind of get this mindset that these players have to be feeling this. It's got to be incredibly pressure packed and whatnot. And while it is, I think us on the outside feel it a lot more than maybe they do.
We've heard this a lot going into this. Was more game 6, and Craig McTavish was on the radio here in Edmonton the other day, and he said in that game 6 for you guys in 2006, like Carolina basically didn't stand a chance. And a lot of the comments going into game 6 here was that no matter what, Edmonton is winning this game. When you were going into that game 6 back then, was that kind of the feeling in the room? Is that nothing can stop us winning this game?
Yeah, I think just how game 5 transpired. Obviously, Fernando Pisani scoring the shorthanded OT goal to send us back to game 6 in Edmonton. And, I think we had gone through enough throughout the playoffs and obviously in that series for us to really have an understanding of how we needed to come out in game 6 to kind of get the lead, get a stranglehold on that game, and then put the pedal to the metal and really hammer home the victory. And, their goalie played very well, and it could have been 8-0 at one point. We had a lot of great A chances. We were firing all cylinders, and the issue and the way people look at it though is, again, it's a game 7. What happened in game 5? What happened in game 6? And now really doesn't matter when you're going into a game 7. Both teams have their back against the wall. Both teams need to play with a tremendous amount of desperation and will and determination to win the game. If you're Florida, you don't want egg on your face and to be the only team to lose a 3-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup Finals. And if you're Edmonton, you want to make history and do it. So it's, both teams are playing for an awful lot.
Excellent segue into what I wanted to get into next, Chris. And it was the team you were a part of that erased a 3-0 deficit. Granted, not in the Stanley Cup Final, but I'm curious for your take on this because we had Frank Seravalli on the show the other day, and he covered the series. And I asked him, like, hey, from an outside perspective, when did he feel the momentum shift back to the Philadelphia Flyers? And he said he didn't really feel it until the middle of game 6. In that series as a player, when did you feel the momentum shift over? When were you like, man, we got him?
I got to be honest with you. We went down 3-0. We lost game 1 in overtime. Game 2 was, I think, a 1-goal game. Game 3 was another 1-goal game, I believe, and maybe an empty netter. But we were in all 3 games. It wasn't like we were being blown out. It wasn't like we were being outplayed. A break here, a power play goal here. The 3-0 series could have been 2-1 us. It could have been, it could have went the other way, and we could have been up 3-0. So, it was very similar to the Oilers team when I was on in 06. The belief in the locker room didn't wane. We did not feel like we were in that big of a deficit or that big of a hole. It was just to chip away at it. Win game 4. Simon Gagne scores a big OT goal in game 4. We win that. We go into Boston, win game 5, come back home, win game 6. And now we're kind of rolling through and feeling good. We go down 3-0 in game 7. And again, that mindset, that belief in our abilities, it's like, all right, Peter Laviolette, our coach, called a timeout. He's like, let's just get one goal before we go in for the first intermission. James Van Riemsdyk scored a big goal to get us to 3-1, and then we came out for the second period and just had new life and really put the hammer down and took it to them, tied the game, scored our second and third goals in the second period, and then Simon Gagne scored an awesome power play goal in like 10 minutes left in the third period to give us the lead, and we're able to hold on and complete the comeback. But at no point did I feel like we were outplayed. And I think, looking at the 6 games that have been played thus far in the series, I think you could say if you're Edmonton, you really didn't feel like you were outplayed. Maybe a little bit in game 2, the latter half of that game when they were trying to sit on that lead. But outside of that, you have to think that they feel very confident in their abilities and the way that they played the series. And obviously in their goaltending, they fixed a couple things after game 3 that I think have been crucial for the goaltender and also the way that they played defensively to create more turnovers and protect the house and allow them to get on the attack and create some of those long area passes that you're seeing them make.
I love everything you said there, because you talked about how the belief in the room when you were in Philly, and the fact that for chunks of this series now, the Oilers have looked good. And when they were down 3-0, Connor Brown did a press conference and he said, for the majority of the periods, we've been a better team. And I know people online were kind of making fun of him a little bit, being like, what, has he been paying attention at all? But it's like, it doesn't matter what anyone on the outside thinks. Like, to me, that illustrated how much belief was in this Oilers room. Quickly, one more on this series and the game that's going to be played here tonight. Who's one player on this Oilers team that, as you've watched this playoff run in this Cup final, they've stood out a little bit more to you as someone who maybe doesn't get enough love?
Yeah, I think when you look at, guys like Henrique, obviously was brought in to be a leader and a veteran presence and has a lot of experience. He was injured in the beginning of the playoffs, and now looks like he's starting to get himself back into playoff shape. Dylan Holloway has played a shoe. I think you look at their penalty killing units. They've been remarkable. I was looking at the stats last night. They're 7 points up on the next closest penalty killing unit, which I think is Florida, which is outstanding. 94.7%, I think. Fact check that. But but when you look at that, you look at the power play, you look at the penalty kill, you look at those numbers usually tell a big story, and they're a big reason why they're back in the series. And then when you look at goaltending, goals against average and all that, and you look at high risk scoring chances from games 1, 2, and 3, and now games 4, 5, and 6, there's been a drastic improvement on all those fronts. And I think if you're Florida, you're looking at going, okay, how do we change that and change that momentum from the last 3 games? And it'll be interesting to see if they come out tight or if they leave it all on the line and like, you know what, there's nothing to be tight for. This is the last game, and we just need to leave it all out there. And I do think when you see these game 7s, typically they're very close, very low scoring games. Everybody is usually feeling out that first period and not really trying to do anything too crazy. I think if you're Edmonton, you just need to kind of lay it all out there. I think you'll see McDavid shot out of a cannon and flying around the ice. And, I think when you look at his last 3 games as well, he's been much better defensively. I thought in the first 2 or 3 games, he had lapse moments of losing his coverage in the defensive zone and not really putting the effort forth. And I think you saw, 4, 5, and 6, he really, really, really was dug in on playing well defensively and making sure that, goals are hard to come by. And when you're giving up freebies, they're tough to come back from. And, that's what you want from your leader and the guy that everybody in the locker room looks up to.
All right, I lied about it being the last one. I mentioned to the listeners off the start that we have a fluid show. You are not the only member of the 016 that's joining the program today. Rafi Torres is going to pop by in about 30 minutes here. What do you remember about Rafi back in 06 and his contributions?
Kiko, just like a bowling ball out there, just running guys over, scored some big goals. Played was a physical presence, but killed penalties, could play in the power play, very versatile player. I think really came into his own that year with us in Edmonton. And, he was awesome to play with. A lot of fun to watch, kind of bounce around, banging into guys, running guys over. And, as I mentioned, when he kept his game simple, he was very, very effective.
Love it, Chris. Really appreciate your time today, man. Enjoy Game 7.
Thank you. Plan on you guys too.
There you go, Chris Pronger, former NHL defenseman, Stanley Cup champion. That was fun, Liam. Hey?
Yeah, I mean, when you can get people like that on the show, I think it's pretty incredible, and thankful for Chris to give us some more time after getting to do it earlier in the season too. It's been a long year for us, Tyler. It feels like yesterday we had him on. I think it was January, maybe.
There's definitely still snow out when we last had him on. Would appreciate Chris giving us a few minutes today. Tico, yes, Rafi Torres. He's going to join us in a little bit. At least that's the plan. I mean, I know there's stuff happening behind the scenes. I have 43 unread text messages right now, so I'm assuming that's good news on the guest front. But anyways,
by the sounds of it, Aaron,
I'm on it.
Has
I'm
been
on
the roll. With
looking around
Rafi.
1:30.
All right, looking around 1:30 with our boy Rafi Torres. So that is who we will wrap up today's show with. Also, AB, I don't know if you can do this for me, but Chalmers is coming in to do real life, and he wants to do the ad reads. Can you find a way to get the ad reads from real life to Chalmers?
Yeah, I got you.
It's
he does it as OJ.
Oh, that would be very funny. Okay, KK, Aaron will cover you. There's a lot going on today. It's a busy day around the Nation Network. I got another group chat that's popping off about how they can get into Greta tonight. Apparently, Greta is like standing room only tonight. It is going to be rocking in downtown Edmonton. If you are a fan down in Florida, Yard House, right by the rink. Search Yard House in Sunrise. That's the one you want to be at. That's where JMBM and all of them will be having a couple brewskis before the game. But Liam, what's your plan for the game tonight?
Well, we're gonna do Greta pre and post game there, and then just kind of hang out there. I think maybe bounce around a little bit. Honestly, my goal for tonight is just to be around everyone I can find and just like really feel the embrace from the city. I just hope the game is good and, obviously going in the Oilers' favor, and then we can just feel the energy just amplify as it keeps getting up. But we are doing a pregame with Boardsing it for an hour and a half tonight. Zach, myself, and I think Coom will also be on the show.
And Brett and anyone I can get. It's going to be a party, hopefully, all night long. And for the Greta stuff, every single table is reserved. Every single seat, I'm pretty sure, is calculated down to the patio seats of how many butts you can fit on the picnic table. But that doesn't matter. Standing room only. You've seen the videos. You're going to be standing the entire time regardless. So come hang out with the ON crew.
Oh man, that is a part of it, because I know you stayed back, Liam, because you wanted to be a part of the vibes in the city. There is like a little part of me, as happy as I am to be here, and they're doing the thing they did in Edmonton ahead of Game 4 right now, Liam, by the way.
Well, today I will allow it. Today I will allow it to happen.
But it's honestly just making me even more nervous for the hockey game tonight. I don't even know if I'm allowed to be broadcasting while they do that. Maybe I got to tilt this a little bit more this way to show less of the ice. I am also like low-key. I don't think anyone else is doing shows right now, so I'm like low-key kind of thinking someone at some point might just walk over me and like, you're supposed to be off the air 2 hours ago. But anyways, I see everyone in the chat. Nervous wreck until the game's over, all that. Tyler Mulick said, what are they doing? They're doing a rehearsal for a certain ceremony.
Yeah, something about
Catch My Drift.
They're doing a rehearsal for Connor McDavid's Conn Smythe win.
He's winning it no matter what, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would take a stellar performance. Not even, I think Bobrovsky is completely out of the running. 3 games in a row will do that to you. You can recover from one bad game, I think, but to have 3 in a row is done. Like maybe Barkov is still in the running, but I think it's just McDavid's to not even lose. I think they've probably engraved his name on it already, to be honest.
Yeah, probably. I think that's fair. People asking how I'm going to survive in the press box tonight. Yeah, so like when you're in the press box, you obviously can't cheer. I obviously will be wearing a suit. I have it packed in my car. So I don't know how I'm going to survive, if I'm being totally honest with you. I might have to at some point like leave the press box maybe and go find somewhere else to watch the game from. I don't know. I think I'll be fine.
Rumor has it you can wander if you need to.
Yeah.
So you just put it in your pocket, go find J and BM or whoever, and maybe for the final minutes, and then if it's going our way, of course, and then embrace it that way. But being in the press box for games 4 and 6 were the worst because 3 didn't go our way, obviously. But I'm glad I was sat next to Hot Honey and no one was sat to the left of me, because we at least got to have conversation about what was happening. But yes, hopefully Frank can be on your side a little bit.
I know there's going to be like a natural involuntary, like if someone scores a big goal, I'll be like, like, oh, come on. I'll be a good boy. I'll be a good professional media guy. And you do, as part of being credentialed media, you do get to go on the ice after the game as well. So
yeah, that'll be special.
Could be interesting. All right, let's continue along with the show. Let's get into some betting talk quickly. It's brought to you by our friends over at Betway, where you can get a free bet up to $200. If your first bet loses, place a bet, no minimum amount required. And if the bet loses, you will get a refund for up to $200. You can then use that money to keep betting on your favorite sports. Shout out to Betway. Liam, the Oilers started the day as dogs, as dogs. I think the public has pushed them to favorites. I don't have Betway because I'm down in Florida right now. Can you maybe confirm that for me? What are the odds on this hockey game?
Yeah, I'm loading it up. Right, do you know what? For games like this, I think it should just be like even pick them minus 110 each. Winner takes all. Like I don't think you can even say there is a favorite tonight. But right now, yes, the Oilers are the favorites at minus 115. Florida minus 105. Again, I would have just evened this out, minus 110 both ways. But either way is basically a pick 'em, isn't it?
What are you feeling for tonight, Liam? In terms of the props, I'm probably not going to dabble too hard in the prop game, but there is a part of me that wants to once again place a nice strong wager on a Leon Draisaitl anytime goal. Like he can't be held goalless in a whole Stanley Cup final, can he? That feels impossible.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And he said actually after game 6, just the thing I love about Leon is his honesty is always apparent. Like everything he says is very much what he's feeling. And after game 6, he basically said, he was asked about his slump, and he's like, I put up a lot of points, and when I don't get points, I don't feel good. So just to get that pass connected with Fogle and to get that point, he's like, that felt really good to me. So I thought he was way better last game too, with a bit more speed on his wings, and Holloway and Fogle let them get the puck, and then he can be found wherever and make the play from there, give him a bit more room, basically. So yeah, I like the Draisaitl one. The one I'm looking at, and I'm not going too crazy tonight, but I think I did this last game, or maybe it was game 5, but Stuart Skinner saves 26.5 minus 135 on Betway right now. Stuart's been dialed in. He's been consistent basically since he came back in that Vancouver series. And then also McDavid, 2 points is minus 115, which is hilarious, but I think I'm going to try and lock that one into. If anyone's curious, Leon Draisaitl for 2+ points is plus 185 to get 1 point, minus 225. McDavid to get 1 point, minus 500.
Yeah, maybe stay away from that one. Minus 500 probably isn't worth the squeeze. Someone in here, Leon looks hurt. I think he has a couple broken fingers. I don't think it's a finger thing. People were bringing up last show the rib thing. And remember in Vancouver, he had that rib, he got cross-checked or whatever, he got hit.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's not more of like a core thing or something in the middle of his body that's affecting his ability to hammer his one-timer, because that one-timer hasn't been as good as it usually is.
Yeah, no, he's getting the looks, isn't he? But he's fanning on way more shots, not getting like all of it. But like, don't get me wrong, Bobrovsky has made some remarkable saves, especially early on in this series against Draisaitl. But Bobrovsky's, how do I word this without discrediting him? Bobrovsky's not as good as that. Like, he can make those saves, but to do it like 3 or 4 times against Draisaitl, he had 30+ goals last season on the power play, like. That's, to me, something on Draisaitl. But in his presser the other day, I was looking at his fingers. They looked fairly regular.
And the Oilers on the power play, like, they do a good job of using all their pitches, Bobrovsky is reading that pass to Draisaitl in his office so well. It's not even worth trying it at this point if you're the Oilers. And boy, I hope this clip goes viral tonight after they score one from his office. But he hasn't really, like, Bob's been all over it. It hasn't even been like the miraculous glove save that he flashes out there. Like, he's been just getting it in his chest every time. So I do think they maybe need to try move Leon to more of the middle of the ice and use him more as a center bumper. We've seen that spot. He's had some success with pucks coming both ways too. So I could see, or I would like to see Leon maybe be put into a bit of a different position with the man advantage. Let's get out to our guy, Frank Seravalli, whose appearances on the show are brought to you by Horse Racing Alberta. Exciting live thoroughbred racing at Century Mile every Friday at 6:15, every Saturday at 3:45. For more information, go to thehorses.com. Frank Seravalli joins us from beautiful Florida. You're staying in Sunrise, right, Frank? You're like nice and close to the rink.
I'm in Plantation,
Florida. It is hot outside. It is muggy outside, but in here it is, well, one, it is freezing cold. I've said it a couple times. The AC is cranked so high in this place, but it is going to be a hot one on the ice between the Oilers and Panthers. Game 7, Frank.
I was with you earlier. You know what I always say, the old Travis Kelce line.
Yes.
Nipples are nature's thermometers.
I'm wearing a pretty dark shirt, so you can't see them. Not that people want to.
Shame for the rest of us.
It's not, this is, I don't want this to sound stupid, but hear me out. It's not a normal Game 7 for the Stanley Cup tonight. The 3-0 deficit, the legacies that are on the line on either side, there is something more substantial than just Lord Stanley up for grabs tonight, as weird as that sounds coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's all or nothing, particularly for the Florida Panthers. I think less so for the Oilers, because no matter what happens, like, they will have done themselves really well being in that spot. And not to say that anyone in Edmonton will be, happy or excited or find it acceptable that they did all that work for nothing. But from the Panthers' perspective, like, this is your second trip to the final in a row. You had 4 separate cracks at winning the cup, and there's really no other way to explain it other than you gagged on it at center ice for everyone to watch. And so that part, especially for a franchise that's never won before, it really creates this dynamic where you are either going to be absolved of all of your sins this playoffs, or you are going to be talked about for all of time as the team that blew it. And that's a really uncomfortable position to be in.
Just a quick programming note for everyone watching. Rafi Torres coming up at 1:30, and also coming up in about 10 minutes, our boy Jason Demers is going to swing by and join me here in the arena. Anyways, back to this game and the legacies on hand, Frank. With Connor McDavid, again, winning his first Stanley Cup potentially tonight, massive for his resume. Doing it in this favor, massive for his status as a legend of the game.
100%. I mean, to help spearhead the comeback, games 4 and 5 with back-to-back 4-point games. I mean, first off, regardless of where the series stood, no one has done that in the 106-year history of the Stanley Cup final. So that's one. But to then do it on top of or add to already breaking a Wayne Gretzky record, and now, if you include era adjusted, but he's pretty close to the all-time record in points for one player in a single playoff. Like, it's so far next level. Like, it really is borderline unprecedented. So what we're looking at here is a player that can cement himself, I think, toward, one day being on the NHL's Mount Rushmore. And he's probably not all that far away with his individual trophy case, but you always have to get to the Stanley Cup final. And, Wayne Gretzky said it, you'll get there one day. You'll lift the cup. You're too good. And I've said forever, as much as Oiler fans have probably doubted it at times, go back to my appearances over the years in the market. I've said it's inevitable. And the question is, will it be tonight?
Yeah, there's a comment in here from Sasky Oil Fan. He's from Imperial, Saskatchewan, and he said Imperial, Saskatchewan will be rocking tonight, which is Chris Knobloch's hometown. They're having a watch party at the rink there. I just wanted to actually, 10 days ago, Knobloch said, like, I'm excited for the next 10 days. And now here we are going into a Game 7. When he made that quote, like, What did you think?
Hang on one sec. I got to hop out for 1 sec.
I couldn't tell. Oh, let's mute him, pull him off. He had a smile on his face, so I actually don't know what Frank has going on right now. But I'm very, very excited to find out what this could potentially be. Also, they started blasting music behind me a couple of seconds ago, and I got very,
that's what
very
that was.
distracted. Yeah, they're again doing their whole shebang on the ice behind me, but you can't really see it at NHL. You can't see it. All right, Frank Seravalli is back in the mix. There you go.
So,
what was your
little secret? Life on the road, Tyler. I don't ever iron my stuff, but when you take it out of the bag and it's all wrinkled, you throw it in the bathroom and you throw it in the shower and you steam it up and you leave. The only problem is that was happening while I was sitting here doing this, and I heard something fall and hit the floor, and I was like, my God, if my suit jacket is at the bottom of the shower, we are going to have some serious problems tonight. So I had to just run in there and make sure that wasn't it.
Well, I'm happy you have a dry suit for tonight.
I mean, you never know. I could get drenched on the way in. It's not looking promising out here.
Liam, what was your question about Knobloch?
When he made that quote 10 days ago about being excited for the next 10 days, what did you think of that in the moment to like where they are now?
I heard him say that, and I was like, good one. Like, nice try. Like, you're trying to rope us back in again. And honestly, I'm not even entirely sure if he believed it. I'm sure now he'll say that he did, but any realist, like, guys, we were standing there in Rogers Place watching that team go through their practice together on the off day between games 3 and 4. And I looked at you guys and I was like, look how poor their body language is. They were hunched over. They looked like they were tired. I thought that was a team that might just pack it in, say goodnight in game 4, and that would be it. What's followed since and transpired has been absolutely incredible from, an individual single game perspective. All different games, all lots of different things happening. The Oilers, they couldn't score in the first 3 games. And they have 13 different goal scorers in this series. Like, there are some things that are just not explainable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Tyler muted himself. Nice one.
Sorry, boys. Earlier in the show, we were chatting with Chris Pronger. We asked him who are some players on this team who aren't getting enough love for their contributions. You wrote a piece today at Daily Faceoff about one guy who is exactly that, not getting enough love for his contributions.
I think Brett Kulak is the Oilers' unsung hero so far in the playoffs, and you need everyone to get to a Game 7. Connor McDavid said it after Game 6 that it has quite honestly been literally everyone. And a lot of different people have gotten love along the way, and rightfully so. Connor Brown and Matthias Janmark for their shorthanded goals. Adam Henrique and Corey Perry for their game-winning goals. The third line that has started feels like every game and every period, even though I know that's not true. It's not just the stars, and that part I think has been the huge difference maker or differentiator between this Oiler team and ones in the past. And when I look at Kulak, though, it's not often that you'd sit there and say, hey, this third pair defenseman is someone that has helped change the Oilers playoffs. But the way that he has steadied the different pairs and taken on some really tough assignments, not externally, but internally. You play with Cody Ceci for the bulk of your playoffs, and you're able to get through that at even goals for and goals against in all situations, 5 apiece. That's like a grand slam home run to think that you can get through that with Ceci, given how poorly he's played during stretches this playoffs. He took on Darnell Nurse for 2 games, played on the right side, which he hadn't played in years. Whatever the situation has been, he's been low maintenance. He's played a lot with Vinny Desharnais, more than 100 minutes. He's only had 2 games on the negative side of the ledger the entire postseason. And he's also the only Oiler player that's played in all 107 games this season, 82 in the regular season and 25 in the postseason, including tonight. I can't really think of a guy, especially a local kid that, was potentially on the move as a cap casualty at some point this season. The Oilers had some tough decisions to make. I can't imagine the Oilers being in this spot without his play, that he's taken on 2 defensive teammates as partners and helped steady them and right the ship for the Oilers and given them lots of flexibility. He's been a huge part of their success.
Yeah. He's like the only defenseman people don't talk about. in a negative or positive way at all. Yeah, he's just there consistently. I had a question about Bobrovsky, Frank. Was it unusual for him not to skate yesterday, or is that something that was kind of blown out of proportion?
No, totally unusual so far in the playoffs. He's pretty much always been out there. They wanted to get him some rest, and I think they're seeing and thinking and feeling a lot of what I had mentioned a couple days ago, that they've seen this movie before with Sergei Bobrovsky in the Stanley Cup final. He played really well for the bulk of the playoffs and then got to the final and wilted when it mattered most. His Stanley Cup final save percentage last year was .844. And yeah, part of that is skewed by the fact that they got shellacked by the Golden Knights in that cup clincher. I think Vegas scored 8. And that really does obviously hurt the save percentage. But nonetheless, I think they felt like he got tired. And I think that's their chief concern heading into game 7 is let's just make sure that he's rested. And by the way, what I would add to that is that's another huge key to me from game 6 is that the Oilers stars were not in a high stress environment. They basically had control from Jump Street, and Chris Knobloch was able to manage the minutes appropriately, keeping them under 20 minutes for both those guys. That I think that was hugely beneficial.
Frank Seravalli for our friends at the Horses. Frank, appreciate your time, man, and I'll see you at game 7.
Can't wait. Hook it right into my veins.
All right, there you go. Frank Seravalli for the Horses. We're going to continue along, and we're going to bring in our boy Jason Demers. He's brought to you by Boston Pizza. Aaron, that is where I'm going with this one. Our playoff partner. It is the final day of these Stanley Cup playoffs, and excited to welcome in a guy who's joining me right up in the booth, right up in section 328. What's going on, Jason?
Look at us. In the nosebleeds, where we belong. Let's go, Liam.
Hello.
Come on, my guy.
Does it kind of give you chills seeing what they're doing behind us on the ice right now? It's pretty cool.
I wanted to snap a picture, but I was like, I don't want to spoil it for folks at home, and it's going to be a beautiful ceremony, whoever wins. So
yeah,
it's been a great Stanley Cup Finals. Like, come on.
I mean, even when we talked to you a week ago and the series was made 3-1 at that point, we were getting ready for game 5. To think we were going to be back here for a 7th was still seemingly a bit of a stretch at that point. What's impressed you the most about this Oilers turnaround?
Just resiliency. They're getting great goaltending from Skin. I mean, his numbers in games 4 to 7 are absolutely staggering. 10-0 right now. And I mean, Connor did Connor things. I think when Knobloch put together that third line of Henrique, Janmark, and Brown, that really shifted the series. And they haven't really, Florida hasn't found a way to kind of counteract that. And, all this without really Leon being Leon. I thought he was skating better last game, but he struggled a little bit. But, I mean, this team top to bottom has just been playing phenomenal. And, listen, first 3 games is all Florida. Last 3, Edmonton. It's a coin flip. And it's just – I'm just going to enjoy it. Honestly, I'd love – listen, if Edmonton wins, what a storyline. So poetic, Connor. But whoever wins, it's going to be – it's just like as a hockey fan, just sit back and watch and enjoy this game because we're not going to see a finals like this for a long time, I don't think.
No, and we talked with Frank at the beginning of his hit with us, and it was like, hey, when you look at the McDavid angle, when you look at the 3-0 series lead being erased now, and you look at the other side, like Bobrovsky's legacy, Paul Maurice's legacy is a guy, he's coached more games in the NHL than anyone right now, and he doesn't have a ring yet. This is his 3rd trip to the finals. Like, the legacies that are on the line, the Canadian Cup drought, the 3-0 deficit, this is a game 7 of the Stanley Cup final on steroids tonight.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to hurt. You're going to kind of be like, yeah, whoever wins, obviously Oilers fans are going to Oilers winning, but you're going to feel for the other side. Like, you're going to feel for Maurice. You're going to feel for Bobrovsky, Kachuk, those guys, Barkov. These guys have had phenomenal years. And Okposo, he's his first look at a final. This might be his last year.
Yeah, this could be his last game.
This could be his last game. So, there's just so many storylines, and then obviously Connor losing out on this after just putting together such an incredible season, and all the guys in Edmonton that I've kind of got the chance of knowing and having a pleasure to know and call teammates at one point. It's just going to be sad either way, but also it's just going to be so bittersweet. We're all going to be cheering no matter what happens, but we're all going to be really, really bummed that it's over. And we got to go into the summer and right into free agency. So it's
time off. Who wants that?
Who needs that? Hey, right to work.
It's insane to think that the draft is like 4 days away. Free agency 7 days away. That's what you get when a series goes 7 games like this. Liam, you got anything?
I don't like. I mean, I just can't believe the Oilers are here. I guess from your perspective, Jason, like you were with this team for parts of last season and the preseason and all that stuff. And this year, Chris Knobloch had a quote. I think Spector asked him. It was like, everyone says like teams believe, but does this team truly believe? What does that even mean? And Knobloch said that he had been on teams that he had coached that he had said they believe, but he actually didn't feel that. Was when you've been around this group when you were playing, is there something that maybe would indicate that this team is tighter than other teams, I guess you could say?
I think they've, more so than last year, I think they've learned, how to be a team. And, part of that is the group of guys around in that room and the coaching staff. It's something that can't really be taught, and you either have it or you don't, but you got to build to it as well. Like you got to build that chemistry and that trust. And whether you like guys outside the rink or not, you need a mutual respect, and you need to be, because all you guys are going for a common goal. So I think they've kind of developed that, and you could call it Connor's leadership. I thought he's taken leaps and bounds forward on his leadership this year. Bringing in Corey Perry, just huge. And then all the surrounding cast. I feel like everybody supports everybody. There's a lot, like we said, there's so many cool storylines within each team. And even with Knobloch coming in and Paul Coffey and guys that have, Paul Coffey's won and Knobloch's coming in just so poised and calm and really just letting guys know, like, hey, just if we play our game, we're going to be good. Stay poised. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. And they've kind of embodied that, just that calmness and that wherewithal to stay in the moment. And I've been using that a lot. It's when I played and, I wasn't lucky enough to get into a finals, but the thing I was always told by veteran guys that have won and what I've seen is just stay in the moment. When you stay in the moment, you're able to do so many great things. If you don't get too hung up on what you did or what you're about to do, and just worry about what's next, and that this moment is what's next. So just stay with it and play your game. So I feel like they've really embodied that and never really wavered. So it's an incredible story, and what an awesome year for Oilers fans. I hope they don't take this year for granted, because all the ups and downs. I mean, I don't know if you'll see a season like this by a team, let alone a Stanley Cup Finals like this. So I think everybody's watching tonight. It's a privilege to kind of be here with you, my man. It's been a wild ride. We rocked and we rolled.
It's been unreal.
And it's over.
It's over tonight. Totally. I'm very distracted because there's two people in the chat who I think are setting each other up on a date.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot. I fly in on the 30th.
It's very weird, Tyler, but hey.
Are you tracking this back behind the scenes? Like, I'm not reading this wrong, right? Like, they're definitely trying to set up a date.
No,
here.
Doug Wade and Sadistic Angel. Dude, maybe you can officiate their wedding.
Wow.
Maybe if it ever gets to that point.
Sadistic Angel. What a tagline.
And someone pretending to be Doug Wade.
Wow.
The chat's a mess, but I mean,
actual Doug Wade.
We got
Tinder Nation, Oilers Nation, Tinder Nation.
Tinder Nation. Hey, 2,700 people in there right now. Two of them are bound to like each other. So
go get it, girl.
One of the things I was really fired up about, not just in the Cup final, seeing the Oilers on the ice, all that stuff, but I talked about it on the show. I was so excited for outside people in the hockey world to experience Edmonton at its absolute best in June. Sun's up till 10:45. Weather's beautiful. It's not like February where you come and it's cold and snowy. You want to stay inside. What have you made of Edmonton, both in the arena and outside of the arena?
I mean,
has it changed your perspective of the city a little bit?
I mean, I always knew playing, and I'd visited there during free agency.
Yeah.
I'm sure I get there, so I've seen it. I know what Alberta is in the summertime. It's beautiful, and I mean, I just couldn't. The fans was just another level that I've never seen, and that rink. I've been in the Shark Tank, and the Shark Tank was probably one of the louder rinks because that roof is a lot lower, and when we had those runs, I mean, you couldn't hear yourself think. As soon as you touch the puck, the place would go bananas. But that building, I mean, I get chills talking about it now. I got chills throughout the whole game. I just literally stood up and walked around. I mean, it was, if I was a player that was contemplating, where to go play in Canada, where to sign, I would send that video of Game 6 out to every free agent and be like, if you want to experience this and win and experience this kind of level of just pure elation from fans and psychosis in the best way, like, come to Edmonton. And for all of Canada, like, just to show people back home and like people that are in the States that are watching this series, like, Canada's a different level come playoff time. Like the Vancouvers, we saw what they did. They rioted. We rag on Vancouver fans, but I mean, the passion they have is is incredible. You go to Montreal, like that building is just would be nuts. Even when their finals during the COVID time, I mean, they were allowed to bring some fans in, and it was still crazy those games, and it wasn't even half capacity. And then you look at the Calgary. I mean, Saddle Dome would be incredible. Toronto, who knows? Because all the corporates would probably ruin it. But maybe not Toronto, but the rest of them, Ottawa. It's just Canada fans. They want this, and they show up for their team when they're winning, and they show up in the playoffs. And I mean, they carried that team 2 of those games. Game 4, I feel like, is 90% the Edmonton Oilers fans the reason they won that game 8-1. They just shook Florida to their core and took a team that looked like they were unflappable and flapped them up pretty bad. So I just think it's such a testament to the fans and the dedication they have. And, you know, when they get rewarded, it's amazing to see. So
one more just on tonight. Looking at last game, I think that was the worst Florida's looked in this series. I think they looked worse in game 6, even than in the 8-1, when that one was at least tight for the first half of the game. I felt like the Oilers really controlled the pace of play in game 6, and that's encouraging leading into tonight from an Oilers perspective. Also, the fact that Connor and Leon were both quiet. They're not both going to be quiet for 2 straight games. What other things are you looking at tonight, or what are some keys to victory, I guess, for the Oilers?
They've cracked the forecheck. And that's been the one thing no one's been able to do in this playoff series, and they've cracked it with their speed. You know, the speed of Edmonton's on a different level, and I think Florida thinks they can play the same way they've done and just kind of stay on top of you and continually forecheck, pinch. But all Edmonton needs is one stride, and they're gone. So I think they're going to I don't think there's going to be a huge adjustment, but I think they're going to be more wary of it in Florida tonight. And I think they just got to get to their forecheck game, which they haven't been able to do because, you know, they dump the puck more than any team in the league, and they have even more so in the playoffs. And Edmonton's found a way to get Skinner more touches, and he's moved the puck beautifully. And that's led to like so much more offense and so much more controlling the play. So if they do that again, I mean, they're going to be raising the cup. So I'm interested to see how they adjust and how they kind of manage that this game.
I don't know what it is about our chat or about having you on the show that makes our chat as horny as it does. But Tyler Mulick said population boom coming in 9 months. Sasky Oil fan said, I wish I was single. I need a hockey man. So yeah, it's a weird one.
I saw what the
Christopher wants to know what jersey he should wear tonight. He wants you to make the call: Clefbaum, Eberle, or McDavid.
The obsession with Clefbaum in Edmonton is so wild.
This fan base loves Oscar Clefbaum. When they put him up on the screen, holy shit,
wild.
Insane.
He was there for how many games?
Well, he played
like
6 seasons.
6 seasons.
Yeah, it would have been more than 200.
And I mean, it's sad the way he kind of ended for him. I mean, you got to go McJesus. Make mullet. You have to. You can't not. Don't stray. Don't stray. Don't try to jinx him by not wearing his jersey. Just wear it and just enjoy. Just revel in his greatness. I've been getting so much flack. But I went on Dan Patrick's show today, and
really?
They asked, is McDavid in the conversation? I said McDavid for me is top 3 all time
already.
And I was like, if he wins tonight, he's in that conversation for one, because he's still got 10 years left in a body of work. All people went bananas.
I kind of said that to Frank too. I was like, Frank, if McDavid leads the team to pull this off, he's right with Gretzky. And Frank wanted me to throw cold water on it, and I believe it.
And I'm not saying it as an Edmonton fan. I'm just saying look at what he's doing right now, and also look at his body of work. And also people go, well, he hasn't won this many cups. I'm like, Gretzky, you need a lot of things right to win a cup. You need a team. It's one of the only sports where you can't just win with one player.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Gretzky had phenomenal teams with him when he won. And he was playing against a lot of like guys that were working 2 jobs. And especially early on, like he in this era.
No salary cap. They had 6. Again, I don't want to diminish the Dynasty Oilers, but like
it's amazing dynasty.
6, 7 Hall of Famers. You couldn't keep 6, 7 Hall of Famers on a hockey team anymore.
No, and honestly, like for what he's done in the technology that's in this era, the goalies, there's way less room to shoot on the net. There's way less room to score. And the parity between him and the second best player in the league. I mean, and majority of players, you can argue McKinnon's close to him and things like that as a player, but he is just on another level. And how much better he is than everybody. What he's doing in this era where everybody's so good. Every kid is dedicated. They're playing one sport athletes that are playing since they're 12 years old. They know way more than they did when they were playing back in the day of hockey. They know how to play, better skaters, all this and that. And he still manages to dominate like it's a video game. So, again, you keep Gretzky where he is, but, I just said all the gatekeepers out there. I'm like, he's coming. Like, just leave the nostalgia at home. It's great. But, like, right now, it's, like, incredible to watch live. And I'm saying that as somebody, not because I played for the Oilers for a cup of coffee and was in training camp, and just watching him. Just watch him. Just put the camera on him every day. Listen to what he says. Listen to what he does on a night-to-night basis. And, just enjoy it.
All right. Love it. As always, Jason, thanks for swinging up here, running the stairs.
I know.
I got one.
Get my workout.
Oh, Liam actually. Oh,
Bring
Liam's going to speak. What up, Liam?
I just want to say, firstly, thank you for doing our show. You've been a great addition, and everyone in the chat loves you. It's been great to have you on. Secondly, will you be coming to Edmonton for the parade next week?
Hell no. I need some time off. I'm exhausted. I got to go work the awards, and then I am taking a week to do what Sadistic Angel and Doug Williams trying to do with my wife. So I need to go see my wife.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I want to say see you in Vegas, but I'm only going to Vegas if the Oilers lose. So I really hope I don't see you in Vegas.
I saw that AI Stratomatic machine, so I saw the predictor.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Thanks, Jason. We got to get to Rafi Torres here in a couple minutes too. But Jason.
Tell Tico, what's up, baby?
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Jason. See you, dude. There you go. Jason Demers brought to you by our friends over at Boston Pizza. Yes. Dap you up. I'm still on the air. Brought to you by BP's. By the way, BP said they're going to give away 30,000 pizzas. 30,000 pizzas they're going to give away if Edmonton ends this drought and brings home the win. So shout out to Boston Pizza. Shout out to Jason Demers. He's gone now, but he kept wanting to talk. I was like, dude, I got to do the hand read. Like, we can't. Like, come on. Tell Tico what up, baby. Yeah, I think we should have Rafi in a couple of minutes here is the plan. That was top tier. That's Jason Demers at his best. Yeah, Jason Demers is the best. For him to make the time for us he has in his final with how busy he's been too is very generous of everyone he comes, and he gives it to us every time. Just great energy. Everyone loves him. People cannot stop talking about their love life when he's on the show. And you asked him, I don't know why. And I think it's because he's the most handsome man in the world. His line at the end was so funny. Okay, AB, flash up that thing Frank just tweeted because it's all I can think about right now. And it honestly makes me kind of want to throw up. 11 years ago today, Connor McDavid tweeted, always cool watching Stanley Cup presented, but at the same time, makes me so jealous. Liam. God, damn it. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. This is such a crazy day in Oilers history because this is also the day that Nuge is drafted, I believe. Like you said, La Bomba came out on this day or sometime this week. McDavid was drafted in Florida. This is just lining up to be too much for me, honestly. Yeah, I honestly don't know if I can. I don't know if I can handle this, man. We're still 5 hours away from this thing getting going. Then we have to sit through intermissions. There's going to be intermissions in this hockey game. Are you shitting me? I might go for a run. Dude, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to handle this. I'm insane. Also, I'm very distracted because DJ is doing a video in his Stuart Skinner jersey just over there. I don't even know if I can pan over to it. You can kind of see him off in the distance doing a video in his Stuart Skinner jersey. So that's distracting me. They're doing all this stuff behind the scenes. Like, holy shit, there's a lot going on right now, Liam. But what else do we still do? Do we do a lineup report here? Lineup report for our friends at Wendy's. They only ever use fresh, never frozen. Our guest is waiting. Our guest is waiting. He's ready to go. Oh, he is down there. All right. Well, then let's continue along here. Our interview is brought to you by Fountain Tire, our partner for these 2024 finals. All of our coverage of the finals are brought to you by Fountain Tire. They are more than just tires. They offer a wide range of auto repair and services from their expert mechanics. Visit fountaintire.com to see all the mechanical services that they offer. Joining us for a quick little hit on the show is Rafi Torres. Rafi, how's it going, man?
It's going real good, boys. How we doing?
Good. I am at the rink right now where they're doing the dry run for presenting the Stanley Cup behind me. It's giving me chills, man. Tonight's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, you know what? I'm really jealous of what these both teams are going through right now. It just brings us back to our day. I had a couple runs at a couple game sevens, and obviously the outcome wasn't what I wanted, but there's a different vibe. I know I'm just on the outside looking in, but I got to tell you, just from watching Edmonton and what these boys have done and put them position they put themselves into, it's pretty impressive, and I got a good vibe going into this one here, boys.
We were chatting with Chris Pronger earlier in the show, and I asked him about the game 7 in '06. Like, what do you remember about that day in the lead up? What do you remember about that day in the lead up? Did you treat it like a normal game day, or was it impossible to like sit still?
Yeah, it was impossible, man. I think I slept like 45 minutes that night, if you even call it a sleep. But just nervous, not in the sense of like, oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna get my ass kicked, but more like, this is what you've dreamed for your whole life, like being in the basement or playing road hockey with your buddies, and game 7 Stanley Cup finals. It's just it's an unbelievable feeling. And like I said, I'm really envious of what the boys get to go through right now. But leading up to what we did, we're in Carolina. I think we had a good feeling after game 6. Obviously we pumped them at home there. And I think it was a little bit of a little kind of misdirection of what we saw coming. We thought we were just going to show up and steamroll them again, and unfortunately, it was kind of one of those games where it's like the first person that scores is going to win, and it's obviously didn't go in our favor. But to be able to experience that with those guys, and after a 2-month stretch of going at it every day, and it was a special, definitely a special feeling.
You were in Edmonton for Game 6 on Friday night. How did it feel to be in the crowd and feel the atmosphere right now?
Listen, I love the crowd. That's why I played hockey. That's why I was a big idiot out there, because I wanted the vibe of the fans, and I wanted them to cheer for me and all that stuff. So I love playing for that vibe. And I tell everybody, like, here in Toronto, I'm like, you guys got no idea like what a real fan is like. I have just as much fun time watching the game as I did like watching like in between whistles and stuff, as they're the camera's on this person and they're chugging a beer and these people are laughing, these people are high-fiving each other. It's such an amazing thing to see. And I tell everybody in Toronto, I'm like, you guys don't know what real fans are. Edmonton is a maniac, crazy city for fans that support the Oilers.
Let me ask you maybe a nerdy hockey question here. What about this turnaround by the Oilers on the ice has been so impressive? What about their game is standing out to you right now?
It's insane. It's like I said, it's crazy to see what they've done. And I love seeing guys like Connor Brown and stuff like that, and Stewie stepping up, and guys just like you could just it's not. I know McDavid's done his thing and Draisaitl stepped up last game, but it's the guys that that you don't really hear too much from, like these guys killing penalties and what they're doing. It's it seems like a great team vibe, and everybody's pitching in and to do whatever they can to get these guys back where they need to be.
Rafi, we just wanted a quick one to get the people fired up. Our chat loves when you come on the show, so really appreciate your time. And I'll ask it because a few people asked it. How's the round going? What kind of shape is your game in?
I'm about 13 beers deep. I got a little bit of a left-handed cigarette on me, and I'm not. It's more for a charity event here. I'm just kind of enjoying it. Listen, I'm playing like shit. Fuck, who we kidding? Good times, though. Fuck. What is this like? All right. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but either way, yeah, good times.
And you are all good. You're allowed to swear. It's an internet broadcast. No one gives a shit about what we say anyways. So, Rafi, love it, buddy. Go Oilers. Hopefully they bring it home tonight.
Fuck yeah, let's go Oilers. Fucking bring it home.
There you go, Rafi Torres, member of the 06 team, an absolute beauty. Appreciate him coming on the show and giving us a quick 5 minutes. A few barley sandwiches for our boy Rafi, but I love it. He had the Oilers hat on for us, Liam. That was unbelievable.
I know. I just, you know what? We've said this before when players come on the show, but Rafi now, obviously, the second time we've had him, he really just loved to be in here by the sounds of it, and the people and just the crowds and everything. The fact he's been back, like he said, he lives in Toronto. He came back for game 6 and he was just sat amongst the people. And it looked like he'd actually purchased a ticket. So he's the best. I love it. We got Chris Pronger, Demers, Torres today, all talking about what the Oilers could do tonight, and it's amazing.
It's pretty special, man. Really appreciate all the kind words. Appreciate all the kind words in the chat. Pateri is in. Hey, greetings from Finland. Just wanted to jump in and say I'm so happy for you guys and all of Edmonton. Whatever happens tonight, the season's a big fat L turned into a juicy W. I agree with that. Sean is in. Unflappable. Flapped him up pretty bad. Again, that's the kind of stuff you can only get with Jason Demers, and I like the shout out from Fighting Amish. Kept the hopes up at times. I don't know if we necessarily did that, but yeah, it's been a wild ride of doing this show, man. I also, Liam, there was an idea I had for like a summer content project, but it would take a while to put it together. If you were to just piece together every single one of my leads from the year into one big long video, would it not pretty accurately tell the tale of the season?
It really would. And I like that Fight always said we keep the vibes up. I think we just ride the vibes of you guys. Like at the end of the day, I know we have press passes for the Stanley Cup final game, but we would much rather be amongst the people and celebrating with everyone. But yeah, I think the lead thing would be a roller coaster. The give a shit meter would be huge. The one where you cut up all the pieces of paper and it was just you were just layering, you just had W's all over you. That was awesome. We've had some really good ones. Or the one where you were stood right in front of the camera and you just bobbed up and you went game day. You've become an artist at it, Tyler. You're like the Picasso of podcasting for that.
The Picasso of podcasting. That's a very nice compliment. Once again, because I saw it pop in there. If you're in Florida tonight and you want a spot to pregame with the fellas, Leah or BM and Jay are going to be at Yard House right by the arena. So look up the Yard House in Sunrise, Florida. It's on like a strip mall. It's a really cool spot. They're going to be hanging out there. Excuse me. We are also going to be dropping a quick episode of Real Life a little bit later, and then live from Greta, an hour and a half extended. Oh, there's a bug. An extended hour and a half pregame show. Pre-gaming with Boardsy, Liam, Zach. Coombsy, I think's itching to do post-game with you guys or one of the shows. So you guys are going to have AB's going to have a lot of people to talk to.
It's going to be just like ONE today. It's going to be full of a revolving door of a cast of guests.
Oh man, yeah, we had a bunch of people. Also, so I mentioned it to Demers, but my life kind of depends on this Oilers game tonight in the sense that I'm either flying home tomorrow or if the Oilers win, I'm flying home tomorrow because there may be a parade in our city over the next couple of days. If, knock on wood, they lose, I have to go to Vegas to cover the draft. That is deemed more important. So I still don't have a flight booked to Vegas. I only have a flight home. And if Alma's listening, he's not going to be excited to hear that. But there's kind of a part of me that just doesn't want to book one.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we see you back here, Tyler. I really do. When you said that to me the other day, I was like, oh, that seems odd. I didn't really know quite the context to it all, but hopefully we can see you back here. Hopefully there's a parade. I know there'll be tons and tons of people. Maybe Doug Waite and Sadistic Angel can meet there and enjoy the parade together. We'll see. But it's hard to even think about that right now, even though that's all I've been truly thinking about since they won Game 6. Yeah. What did you think? I know you went out and about on Friday night after they won Game 6, but what was your experience like? Not in the arena, but coming out of the arena.
For Game 6?
Yeah,
I mean, it was wild. Like, again, just walking and high-fiving the Let's Go Oilers chants in the stairwell, then out by the LRT was absolutely unbelievable. I'll just never forget the We Want the Cup chant. I will never forget them playing Saving Me by Nickelback as everyone's walking out of the arena. I'll never forget, again, just I'm lucky enough to sit where I get to sit with my dad, watching that empty netter float in right in front of me because I was fully on the edge of my seat when it was 3-1. I know, and it's one of those things where you look back in hindsight and you're like, and you kind of go back, and I like watching like the 15-minute recap on NHL.com the next morning to like kind of go through all the big moments. And it's like, man, the Oilers played so well that game was never really in doubt, but in the moment you are just like freaking out on the edge of your seat. Like if they win 4-1 tonight, I'm going to be on the edge of my seat until the final minute is announced, right? Like,
yeah.
In hindsight, it felt like a safe, dominant victory. In the moment when it was 3-1, I'm like, they're 2 bounces away from blowing this. Like, I'm still that kind of an Oilers fan at times. So I'll never forget that empty netter sliding in and seeing just the celebration. I didn't see the celebration on the ice because I was just hugging people and high-fiving people.
The Wanye had a quote with The Office the other day, and he said, I am currently not enjoying watching Oilers games because I am so nervous and my emotions just take over. But when it's done and they win, of course, it's just the best feeling in the world. And I think everyone is just feeling that right now. And tonight is going to be 60 minutes of stress. I don't know how we're all going to handle it. I know my thing is I eat bananas. I don't know if they're going to work for me tonight if the others are winning towards the end and it's just a couple of goals. But
hold me, Liam.
Yeah,
hold me at the
I
end
don't
of
know.
this one.
It's just going to be endless, just grabbing hold of people and just hopefully celebrating what will be. Honestly, I think I'll say it, the most historic night in NHL history. Maybe that's like a drastic overstatement, but the Edmonton Oilers could potentially come back from not only a 3-0 deficit in the Stanley Cup final, but being one of the worst teams in the league to start this year, firing their head coach, doing everything they could, being behind so many times in the playoffs so far, going to Dallas and winning a game, Vancouver, LA winning 2, shutting them out 1-0, going now coming back in the Stanley Cup final. Like, you got people don't even write about this stuff because it doesn't seem real.
It's honestly like it's an absolute fairy tale. Like, if this were to happen in my NHL 25 be a GM, I would probably sit there before Game 7 and be like, well, this game's not all that realistic because you don't come back from down 3-0 in a Stanley Cup final. But here are the Oilers on the verge of coming back from being down 3-0 in a Stanley Cup final. We're not going to get sentimental right now, just because, again, like, there's a hockey game to be won tonight, and we have plenty of time to kind of go through and live out our memories of this cup run and all the friends we've made along the way, Liam. But for tonight and this hockey game, what is one thing? I guess we actually didn't give our Sherwood Power Sports and Marine keys to victory. What is one thing that you desperately need to see from the Oilers tonight if they're going to be lifting the Stanley Cup on that ice behind me?
I mean, these are the obvious ones, right? But I think one for me is the conversation about fans right now is a very interesting one for me because, like I said, we've been to these rinks and Florida fans, they can get loud. That building can get rocking, but it does get very quiet too at moments, like all rinks. But if the Oilers can suck the energy out of that arena and just kind of get the game going in their favor, I think that's going to be a huge one. And the power play, like we've seen them. What do they have in this series now? 1 goal, I think, and it was at 5-on-3. We've not really given a lot of credit to Florida for the way they've been killing off these penalties too. Like Pronger said, they're the second penalty kill left in this playoffs, and they have like an 87% or something like that. So the power play needs to show up. I keep thinking about Game 6 against Dallas, but I also don't want that at all because the Oilers had like 12 shots. Mm-hmm. So they need to find a way to stay in full control of the game. And by that, I just mean, like, don't let it slip too far away when it does. You need to be within the game for 60 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Ryan is in. Skinner, 1. 2, continue solid defensive play. 3, keep the third line rolling. Ryan, I'm going to be honest with you. To me, those are 2, 3, and 4. Number 1's Connor and Leon for me tonight. This is Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. Think about Sidney Crosby coming through in the Olympic gold medal game in overtime. Like, it felt like it had to be him, right? And when you look at this hockey game tonight and the Edmonton Oilers potentially moving on to the other hand and getting ring numero 6 as a franchise, Connor has to be the guy. Leon has to be the guy. I know they won Game 6 without them, and the depth of this team is beautiful. And I'll even say that there's a path for the Oilers to win, obviously, without Connor and Leon having big nights tonight. But there's just something about the big moments where you need your big players to be the best. I really believe you're going to see the best from Matt Tkachuk tonight. I really believe you're going to see the best from Alexander Barkov tonight. I don't know if you'll see the best from Sergei Bobrovsky. That's a massive, massive, pivotal turning point in this one. But for the Oilers, again, you can win without it. But if Connor and Leon are at their best, you won't lose. Does that make sense?
100%. I like we've said this whole time, the Oilers have the best 2 players in this series. And if they're playing of their capabilities, we can talk about Barkov shutting one guy down, but there's a second guy right there behind him. And Warren Foegele, we said this at the start of the series too, like when he wasn't in the lineup, is that you don't need a long stretch from Foegele. You need 4 big games, and he's giving you 2 already. So the fact he's kind of buzzing next to Draisaitl too, McLeod is doing his stuff. Was literally just fell down outside of the office.
He literally just tried to crouch down and fell over.
Yeah, it's mayhem here already at the office, Tyler. And also, did you see Brandon, who I believe is from Illinois, is down in Florida right now, and he has posted pictures from the Yard House and then also that tequila bar across the way. I can't remember what it's called. and they are already loaded with Oilers fans.
Let's fucking go. I can't yell that loud because I'm like impartial media and I'm at the arena and there's Sportsnet doing stuff around me, but let's go, Liam. God, Game 7 tonight. Come on.
I know.
I'm like giddy. Now I'm not nervous. I'm giddy with excitement. Drop the puck. Let's drop it right now. Let's get this thing going, baby.
Yeah, I don't even know how long we have till puck drop, but it's gonna feel like months until it truly starts.
Sorry, I just got sent my flight, so I'm flying to Vegas tomorrow, no matter what. Oh, I have a Vegas to Edmonton flight now, so I just got to get to Vegas by 8:30 so that I can jump on a flight to Edmonton after. Okay, this all makes sense. Mulick is in one final special teams battle. Mark is in brown mark on blast. Pateri, where did Angel and Doug go? Did anyone see them leaving? They have their own room. Dacky, what's a good hotel to stay at in the parade in Edmonton? Just go to the parade, meet a friend, sleep on their couch. Chris, Stu wins. If Stu wins tonight, where does he rank all time for Oilers goalies? Right behind the only other ones to win a Stanley Cup. Bang! Oilers on the verge of a Stanley Cup. Unbelievable. Can't really believe it. Davin, please give me a McDrygle. Power play is going to be massive. As our boy Tyler Mulick says, special teams battle. Absolutely. Amanda's in. Connor's going to have the game of his life. Graham says, Mr. Game 7. Cody Cece's finding the back of the net. Why not? You got to believe. You got to believe. Scott Aroni, Tyler has a great Douglas mattress you can sleep on. Wouldn't be opposed to it. No, you can't. I'm kidding. You can't sleep on my couch or on my Douglas mattress. That's for me when I eventually get home because I'm sick and tired of being on the road. But damn it, Liam, if it results in the Oilers winning the Stanley Cup right behind me tonight, it'll all be worth it.
It will all be worth it. And I can't wait till you're back and we can reminisce on all this stuff and actually like talk about it. And yeah, it's been a ride, man. Yeah. And Aaron too. Aaron's been here for us the whole way too. If he's not been on the road with us, he's been making up weekends and getting us rolling too. So the three of us,
one more hype night at Greta, and I'm saving all the big guns for tonight, baby. Get your ass down there.
Tyler Mulick dragged it back to Berta merch when? Well, Mulick, listen, I don't do the design. That's not my department. But if I can make a suggestion to the people that do, dragged it back to Berta with maybe a little silver kind of thing just lingering on it somewhere. Give it that nice silver theme. I think we might want to wait until we start dropping more shirts over on nationgear.ca. Yes, shout out to our friends at Douglas Mattress, by the way. Everyone's talking about my Douglas mattress in the YouTube chat. You know, like I sleep like a baby on it. I didn't sleep great last night in the hotel because nothing compares to my Douglas. Douglas.ca/OilersNation. Take advantage of the mattress and free bedding bundle. That is going to be a wrap on today's edition of the show, Liam. Oh, you got one more thing?
I just want to see something here. So our friends from Oilersnation Germany are currently live. They're at least live on Twitter. So when we're done here, I thought it was on Twitch. I can't seem to find it. Try and comment on their video and just get some hype going for them because they've been going live too. And some of these times for them are crazy. They were live during Game 6. So go over there, give them some love too, and just say let's go Oilers in the chat.
All right. I love it. I also need to book a flight because I'd like to go home tomorrow. I'm just thinking about tomorrow's show, by the way, Liam. So obviously I have DFO Live, which goes at noon Eastern. I think I'm going to be flying tomorrow. So I think I'm going to need you to handle the show, and I'm going to try to join you from an airport because I do have I got a layover. Oh, I don't know how long that first leg will be. I know people don't care, but I'm trying to figure out if I can do the show tomorrow. Regardless, you'll be handling it, I think.
That's okay. I will be ready for whatever happens. I'll see if Zach and Coom can join me on the couch. Maybe we'll get some other Oilers Nation staff rolling through here, and we'll have a great show no matter what.
I'll be here. I'm not going to bed.
Yeah, Aaron, I was going to say you should text Jay and see if you can stay in the air. You and Pat can just stay in the Airbnbs tonight on top of the office if they're open.
I have an air mattress in my car.
Oh, you're actually doing that? I love that. Oh, that is so funny. All right, gentlemen. Great work today by you two holding things down back in E-Town. My laptop is about to die, so we do unfortunately have to wrap up this show an hour. And Doug, wait, you had info on the charter company. Email me, Tyler@thenationnetwork.com. Cole Blight, you were the guy who won the $25 to Nation Gear for nailing the Chris Pronger trivia. You email me at Tyler@thenationnetwork.com. Gentlemen, we are under 5 hours away, about 3 or 4.5 hours away from puck drop between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers to decide the Stanley Cup. This has been my favorite show I think we've ever done. It has been my absolute favorite Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of this show. there's nothing in the world I want more than for the Edmonton Oilers to play their best 60 minutes tonight in this barn. Liam, you do your best to try and enjoy this hockey game, buddy.
You too, man. I hope you find a way to cheer up there.
Everybody in the YouTube, you guys were excellent today. Top notch stuff. Jason Demers, Chris Pronger, Rafi Torres, Frank Seravalli, our guy Jay for getting the chant going at the elbow room. Feels like that was 8 hours ago. This was an absolute blast to sit here and talk with you guys. Record number for views as well. We had well over 2,000 on all platforms at some point. So you guys absolutely brought it. Couldn't do a show without that kind of stuff going on in the chat. Thanks so much. Game 7, Cup final. Oil up.
Thank you for watching Oilers Nation every day. Hit the subscribe button to never miss a show. And for more, visit Oilersnation.com.